HaNeviim. Today we're going to be doing a book reviewing Positive Vision. So Positive Vision was released by the organization called Vayimaen, and as many of you know, if you're familiar with the verses in the Torah, the word Vayimaen is used when Yosef overcomes a challenge with Potiphar's wife. And with the cantillation, the musical notes that are read along with the Torah, we have this is one of the four places that this very specific tune is used. Vayimaen. That basically signifies the struggle, that internal struggle that Yosef had when he was basically facing that challenge with Potiphar's wife, when later she accused him that he tried to make a move on her. So as you can tell by obviously the title of the book and the organization that published it, their focus is on helping people overcome that challenge of also immorality, but also keeping your vision focused on the straight and narrow, and not being distracted by all the different eye candy that's available out there. And I think this book is perfect for our generation, especially in the internet age, when people, 90s kids, have basically grown up and they've been challenged with, that tremendous power that the internet holds, where you can access more knowledge, information than any previous generation at the tip of your fingers, but at the same time, many destructive forces lay at your fingertips. Basically, the layout of the book is that it goes through different chapters, so that you have one chapter every day. It's short chapters, probably 2 or 3 pages long each, but each focuses on a different method and tactic you can use to overcome the struggles of, whether it's on the internet looking at things that you should not be looking at, things that are very challenging to overcome, getting your mind out of the gutter. And it also teaches you a lot of the positive aspects that come along with keeping yourself focused on positive things and not straying after your eyes, as the Torah says. Lo taturu acharei levavechem ve'acharei einechem. So I'm going to take you through one of the chapters that I really connected with. And it really resonated with me because I could see myself, when I was reading this chapter, going through those struggles in the past, the years it took me to overcome different internet addictions and things like that. I really felt that this chapter encapsulated what those struggles can ultimately held for myself and can ultimately hold for you. So this chapter is chapter 80 for day 80, called Wake Up Call, the benefit of failure. The Stipler Gaon provides a most surprising insight into failure. One instinctively assumes that there's nothing actually positive about failing. I don't benefit by my failure. It just demands that I pull myself up by the bootstraps and get back to work. My avodat Hashem, my service of Hashem, is not going to improve. Failure is nothing more than an annoyance interfering with my growth. A person may say this to themselves. According to this understanding, when the pasuk in Mishlei states, Ki sheva ipol tzadik v'kam, for the righteous fall 7 times and arise, it means that what separates a tzaddik, a righteous person, from a rasha, a wicked person, is the tzaddik's perseverance to keep on getting up, whereas the rasha stays down for the count. This is certainly true. But the Stipler tells us something more quite shocking. In fact, it is because he is a tzaddik that he fell down in the first place. He explains that spiritual failures have inherent value. When it comes to money matters, people are never sated. As our sages say, one who has $100 wants $200. But when it comes to our spirituality, we tend to get complacent. As long as we see our spiritual level as stable, we will leave well enough alone. We might even be successful in this maintenance mode. But eventually, maintenance becomes monotonous, and one's avodat Hashem can deteriorate into being nothing more than habit. Failure, states the Stipler, wakes a person up. When one sees that which he has already attained become unhinged and begins slipping away, he works it energetically to save himself from further failures. Inherent in his words is quite a novel idea. One normally assumes that while the performance of positive commandments must be done with intention and emotion, but not out of habit, there's nothing wrong with refraining from doing a sin out of habit. The Stipler tells us otherwise. We have to embrace our plan to avoid sinning with wholehearted intention. The failure is a wake-up call. So just to add a little points to this, for me, looking back and dealing with my challenges on the internet, I always tried different methods and different tricks to try to get myself out of it. I knew I had to pull myself out because, as many people know, that the more you get stuck in that, the more you feel empty, the more you feel disgusted with what's going through your mind and what your eyes are watching. You feel very empty. So along that path, you try different methods. But what's funny is that looking back, I may have failed implementing many different methods. But over time, that really built my resilience to eventually reach that goal that I was striving for many years to achieve. He continues that something else is gained by failing. The attention and effort to restore the previous spiritual level can cause one to ultimately reach even greater spiritual heights than he had achieved initially. And this was the very point of the failure. It is a wake-up call to pay attention to our spirituality, bringing home that idea that life is really meaningless without that struggle. And sometimes God puts that struggle in our path so that we can become greater people, more spiritual people. And the greatest spiritual individuals in the Torah, they went through many different challenges, no different than we do on a day-to-day basis. The discipler concludes with the following sobering yet encouraging words. Of course, the effort itself is a sacred task, even without that eventual spiritual gain. One's life purpose may be to struggle his entire life, but in truth, this condition is unlikely to remain forever. Ultimately, one merits help from the heavens, and due to his struggles, he will remain vigilant and conscious of his avodat Hashem, his service of God, even without the motivation of failures. In summary, though failures certainly carry the danger of breaking one totally, and one must pray to be saved from this, the failures themselves are a means of growth. For one who bounces back and is careful to keep rising in avodat Hashem, in the service of God, has gained immeasurably from the falls. My failures are wake-up calls from heaven to redouble my commitment to maintain my holiness. So that's the book here. And I would highly recommend this book to anyone who feels that they're struggling in the area of internet. It'll give you so many tools, so many resources to lift yourself up and really take control of your life in this aspect. This is such an important aspect. And honestly, even in the secular world, a lot of people are picking up on this. Movements such as NoFap and, funny enough, the funny name, No Not November. All these movements are really there to waken people up to see that a lot of these industries and the marketing that's there to sell the sex online is really going to be detrimental to us long term. And people are awakening to the fact that we can outgrow this phase. We can remove ourselves from being simps and really gain control and mastery of our own lives. And for me personally, after I was able to achieve this goal and really stay clean from all the filth that's online, I could really see myself budding and sprouting as an individual and really becoming more self-aware and conscious and more kind and more pleasant to be around. You know, these are all things that you can take into your relationships, God willing, and really teach others and help others out of the mud after you've climbed out yourself. So I hope you find this recommendation helpful. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and keep on building yourselves up. There is time, but no time to waste.